if you and I are similar, then we have this almost like inherent desire to be really, really good. And by good, I don't mean the moralistic standpoint, although, let me rephrase that. I do want to be good morally. But what I mean by this desire to be really, really good is good at things, to be talented at things, to get good at things, so on and so forth. And if you have that mindset, then you also have probably dealt with kind of that anxiety of, I'm not good enough. That nagging in the back of your mind of, I could be doing more, what if I fail, etc., etc., etc. And last night, I really was exploring that. And I like doing that. I like exploring ideas, taking a concept, fractionalizing it, and picking apart all of its different facets. And it led me to a couple of observations. Number one being that wanting to be really good at the things I do can sometimes backfire. Because when you have this idea of what success looks like, when you have this idea of what being good at X looks like, every moment that you are not at that level can agonize you. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because I've talked about this before, that's not the point. But having that mindset leads to that line of thinking. And so I wondered, well, I was like, well, what is the root cause of that? What is the root cause of not being good enough? And logically, it comes down to, if you pour yourself 100% into this line of work, whatever it may be, but pouring yourself truly 100% into pursuing that, at some point you are going to fall short and be corrected. Now, personally, and I'll use a personal anecdote for this to help explore this concept further. I run into this trap of, with these super high standards I set for myself. When somebody in a position of authority, whether that be literal authority or somebody that's been there before or somebody that's currently doing what I want to be doing, when they go, hey, Patrick, great job, you're killing it, man. Unfortunately, my mind takes that and goes, yeah, I should be. I should be. That's what I've been trying to do. Nobody has to tell you that you've finished a race. Because you finished it, you crossed the finish line. It's one of those self-evident things, and that's where my mindset goes, is it's self-evident. It's like, of course I did a good job. I've been working really hard at this. I've been pouring myself into it, of course. It feels good for about 30 seconds to 15 minutes. And then that becomes a new standard. That then becomes the metric in which is my baseline. And if I go below that, then I'm regressing. Progress is not linear. That's a hard pill for me to swallow, and I don't like it. I hate it. But it's something that I have to accept, and something that I am actively working on accepting. And it doesn't matter whether that praise is just good, like this, let's say this is neutral. If the praise is like right here, Okay, so if it's way up here, I mean, still like that. Yeah, of course, I've been diving super deep into this. I've really wanted it. Of course, like it just makes logical sense. I've put in the work. I put in the hours. I practiced and I did I exercised it, and then when it came for game time, so to speak, I executed, and it's just a logical sequence of events. And it's interesting because I don't get external validation. Well, I do enjoy external validation. I'm human. But that external validation almost not hurts. I don't really know a good word for it, so I'll just explain it. That external validation ends up becoming just a feedback loop of, well, if I crush this, then I have to crush the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and I have to constantly be going upwards or forwards, whatever metaphorically you prefer. And it's a never-ending cycle. It's a constant feedback loop of, I hit this metric, this is my standard. I hit this metric, this is my standard. I hit this metric, this is my standard. So on and so forth. And I started right here, and then by the time I'm here, but then through whatever it is, whether reality or perceived, I come back down here. I can't handle that. Right? It's agonizing. Even though I'm still way further than I was. It's really hard to get into that mindset to look back at where you came, which was right here. And so you can shoot all the way up here and then one day come down here. You've already came really, really, really far. And the you right here, couldn't even dream of the day you'd be right here, but you previously were here, and so it hurts. And so the opposite of positive feedback would be negative feedback or constructive criticism, if you like to use the corporatized version of the word. And every time I get constructive criticism or negative feedback, it is something that I agonize over. And it doesn't even have to, it literally could just be somebody being like, hey man, yeah, you did a pretty decent job. I was kind of expecting you to do better though. Man, that'll crush me. Like I won't show it, but that'll just fuel me. I'll think in my mind, wow, I'll never do that again. Done. I will literally never allow myself to be in this position again. And it leads to a lot of success. It leads to a lot of value in the long term, but in the short term, it can really kind of like cause you to catastrophize events. And I know why. It's because I'm inherently a perfectionist. It is because inherently I just want to be the best, and it's a drive that I've come at peace with. There's a quote from the movie Troy by Achilles, played by Brad Pitt, where this woman, she asks him a question. And the question is along the lines of, do you enjoy what you're doing? Like, why did you choose to do this? And Achilles responds very poignantly, I did not choose this. I was born this way. It's who I am. And for the longest time, that's just been who I am. I maybe it's something genetic, maybe it's something with the way my neurological pathways developed as a child, as an adolescent, as an adult, so on and so forth. It's kind of pointless to try to pinpoint where it started. Because as much as it has caused me as much as it has caused a lot of grief and sorrow are a little too strong, but something along those lines. I'm sure you can think of a word. But as much hardship or mental difficulty that it has caused me, I don't want to live without it because it makes me who I am. And without that, I think I'd live a pretty dull and boring life. And without that, I wouldn't be near where I am today. But I realized why it is futile to think that way, and how escaping from that mindset and that mentality can allow you to actually go further. And it's a logical sequence. You are not currently the best at this thing. Therefore, there is somebody that is doing it better than you. If there is somebody doing it better than you, therefore they know more than you. If they know more than you, they can correct you. And if they correct you, you are on the right path. Because we don't bother correcting people that we don't see potential in. We don't bother with it because it would just be a waste of time. Somebody that we don't think is going to try harder, we might just placate them. We only correct those who we see potential in or who we want to invest in. If you see a fence, and let's just say you're driving along the road and you see a fence and it's knocked over, you don't go pick it back up. You're driving. You've got things to do. But if you have your own fence and it gets blown over from the wind, a tree knocks it down, so on and so forth, you go out and fix it because it's your fence. You see potential in it of doing its job as a fence. The fence doesn't get mad. It doesn't get upset. It thanks you. Hey, thank you for making me upright. Thank you for allowing me to quite literally realign with the purpose in which I was created. And that really comforted me last night. And of course, I didn't come through this on my own. It was through a prayer. And I do enjoy doing that. I enjoy praying and going through lines of logic and consciousness. I like doing that in prayers. But it was to say the least, it was revealed. It wasn't necessarily something that I just came up with, but all of that agonizing and all of that just never really allowing myself to be at peace with the fact that I'm inherently not good enough at what I'm doing. It was a net negative. And I think it was extremely, I don't think I know, it was extremely comforting to know that if I am being corrected, I'm on the right path. There was this one, I can't remember who it was, but somebody asked the question, if you knew you had to fail 100 times before you were able to succeed, And you knew that. Like, it was like, hey, you have to fail 100 times in order to succeed. How fast would you try to fail? If you knew for a fact, hey, 100 failures and then 101, at try 101, you'll succeed. You'd breeze through those 100 failures. You'd hit failure, hey, I'm 99 away. You'd hit the next 98 away. So on and so forth over, hey, I'm 58 away. I just got to fail 58 more times and I'll succeed. And it's an extremely, extremely comforting thought. Extremely comforting thought. And it's the concept of failing forward. Falling forward, failing forward, right? If you're going up the stairs and you fall forward, ironically, you are higher up the stairs than you were before you fell. If you're going down the stairs and you fall, you've gone farther than you did before you fell. Ironically, if you fall hard enough, you get to the bottom of the stairs. And if your object was to make it to the bottom of the stairs, you did so, although it kind of hurts and you might have a bruise, maybe a joint sprain or something. But failing forward is the object of life, is just to constantly not meet the mark until one day you do. And I mean that in earthly ventures. Because from a soul venture, we can never meet the mark. Which is why Jesus died for our sins. Because we were never able to meet the mark from a heavenly, soulful perspective. But I'm simply talking about earthly matters. I am not an expert on matters of what really matters. I know a good amount, but there are people that know a lot more than me. That being said, when you fail and you feel defeated, remember this. I've said it before in this video, but I just really, really want you to remember it, right? When you fail and get corrected, it is because you're on the right path.